One of the concepts we get into with similarity is the angle bisector theorem. And what the angle bisector theorem states is if a ray bisects an angle of a triangle, then it divides the opposite side of the triangle into segments that are proportional to the other two sides. And we have an example here with this. You can't see it very well, so I will rewrite it over here. What the proportion we have is A over C equals B over D. So what it is the left side of the triangle over the left segment we know is equal to the right side of the triangle over the right segment that's created when this angle bisector comes down and intersects this bottom side. So that's the proportion that we have. So now let's try to apply it to solve some problems. So here's the first one, find x. Well, again, even though this one's a little bit rotated, we know this is an angle bisector. It's an angle bisector because we have these two angles on either side. They tell us are congruent. So again, it's the same exact kind of setup. It's left side over left segment equals right side over right segment. So if our proportion that we can set up here goes something like this, 12 over 6 equals the right side, which is 18, over the bottom segment, which is x. Well, now we set up the proportion and all we do is solve. So we cross multiply. 12 times x is 12x. 6 times 18, well, 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 8 is 48. And 60 plus 48 is 108. And if we take that and get the 12 out of there by dividing, this gets me x equals 9. So my correct answer here is 9. Let's try another one. Find x. So again, they've taken this triangle, they've rotated a little bit on us. That's okay. We know that this is the angle bisector here. So angle bisector because these two angles are congruent. So what we have here, in this case, it's the top side, which is 9, or left side, I guess you could say, over left segment equals, and we'll go bottom side over bottom segment. So if we set up our proportion over here, we've got 9 over 3 equals bottom side, which is x, over 4. Just make sure if you put your side up top, you have to put your side up top on the other proportion. If you put your segment on the bottom, you got to put your segment on the bottom of the other proportion, or the other ratio. Just make sure whatever pattern you established with the first one, that same thing holds true for the second one. Well, now we just cross multiply and solve. We've got 9 times 4 and 3 times x. 3x equals 36. We divide by 3, and we get x equals 12. So 12 is our answer for x. Let's try one more. Okay, so here we go. This one, they threw a little curveball at us here. So now, same idea. Let's set this thing up. We know this is the angle bisector because these two angles are congruent to each other. So if we highlight the things we know, left side over left segment, we've got 5 matches up with x. And then if we go over here, we've got the 7, the bottom side would match up with the bottom segment. Well, we haven't seen one like this before because it's the first time they've given us the entire bottom side. Well, if I know this entire thing over here, this entire side is 8 and this is x, the way I would find those, let's just think of this as if it's a number. If this is 3, this has to be 5 because I take 8 minus 3. Well, they didn't tell me that was 3. They told me it was x, but that doesn't change the fact that I can find it by taking 8 minus that variable. Okay, so now we can take those and we can set them up into our proportion. So I know that it's 5 over x, not 8, sorry, 5 over x, because that's the left side over the left segment, equals 7, which is the bottom side over the bottom segment. And now I just cross multiply and solve. 7 times x gets me 7x. Don't forget it's 5 times everything here, so 5 times 8 is 40, and 5 times negative x is negative 5x. Sorry if I went a little fast there, I'm running out of space. I have to solve by getting x on the same side, so I'm going to add 5x and add 5x. This gets me 12x equals 48, or 40. I divide by 12, so x equals 40 over 12. I can pull a 4 out of the top and bottom, so that gets me 10 over 3. And that answer over here is the same thing as 3 1/3 for my official answer.